Welcome to my next edition of The Digital Director. In this issue, I'm going to deal with online marketing. Now, normally when I deal with issues of technology for funeral directors, I know to go slowly. Funeral directors do not appreciate technology. The last technology this industry universally adapted was gravity. So we don't have time. I'm going to go quicker. And if you need to replay this video, because your competitor probably is as well, and you want to get these things done before they do. There are 6 key issues I'm going to take you through, so that way you can implement your online marketing strategy. Item 1, have your own website. Oh, I know your URL, your reference, is your own reference, but your website is probably a copycat. It's out of the box. It's a solution that may even have been given to you by a vendor for using their products. Free is not good. And if you don't understand why that website has to be customized, well, we've got a bigger problem to deal with. Your website has to be your point of communication. It is your non-stop advertising point. Of the 20,000 funeral homes, 15,000 are owned by private individuals. 10,000 people own those 15,000 funeral homes. We have to have you owning a website that works for you. And the first thing a website has to be is your around-the-clock, never-stop marketing assistant. I understand that sometimes you don't understand technology. You take a free website or you buy a website off of the shelf from somebody. I get that. But what you have to get is even a suit bought off the rack needs to be tailored. So go in and change the images. Make sure the pictures are the pictures of your business, and make sure the images of your region are those of your region. I recently saw a website of a arid community, and it had a picture of a snow-covered mountain in it. Trust me, there are no snow-covered mountains in Phoenix. Make sure every page is up to date. Nothing is worse than you having on your cover page, your home page, a whole description of how much you care. And then you have another page that says under construction or coming soon. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not the way to demonstrate that you care. Populate your website with lots of information about your staff, about your business, and most importantly, how you are different. Make sure that the community understands more than just what your showroom looks like or the cars that you offer. Understand how the phrase search engine optimization is used. SEO for short. Search engine optimization is when you go to Google or any other search engine and plug in the phrase, for example, funeral home Boston. That search engine records what the requested search was, and it then watches to see what site the consumer ultimately chooses. The more your site is chosen, the higher in the page your website is going to be offered to the next person that chooses to use the phrase search engine Boston. In order to be prompted, not only do you have to be chosen, but you need to make sure that your website has meta tags and keywords and phrases. In other words, if you want to be seen as a Boston funeral home, use the word Boston several times throughout your website. If you want to be more neighborhood oriented, list every neighborhood in and around your service community. The search engines search for these words, and the consumers go to the sites the search engines offer. Number 2, every employee must have, not should have, must have their own email address. Nothing says you are more of a loser that doesn't get it than when your website says info@XYZ Funeral Home. That is not an email address. You don't just put a phone number out there that nobody's going to answer. Each and every one of your employees has personal goodwill. Capture it. Give them the ability to communicate with your families. And the easiest way for your families to communicate with them is to give them their own email. Now, repeat after me. Email is free. Go ahead, I'll wait. That's right. Email is free. And if you're not taking advantage of something free, well, I've lost all respect for you. Just as you give each and every one of your employees their own business cards, you should give them their own email address. Because we want them out there promoting your business with their personal goodwill. Number 3, website SEO. I've already introduced you to the concept of SEO, but what you have to understand is that SEO is manipulated. People that study this know how to play the games, so that way they can get you higher in the route of offerings from Google, Yahoo, and other SEOs. You want to be higher because that means you're going to be higher on the page, and families do not like to scroll. They don't like using their mouse to do this. It takes a lot of effort. It's awkward. So you want to be on the top of the page if possible. And there are a handful of people that really know how to get you there and keep you there. So try one. Yeah, there's a cost, but the website itself is free. The casket company gave it to you. Spend your money wisely. Now, in the event you don't get results, hire a different person. But you must have someone that knows how to get you to the top of the page, get you there. I mentioned the phrase keywords. Picture, if you will, you want to be known for your services to the cremation community. So one of your keywords is the word cremation. The more times that shows up, the more likely it is you're going to be on the top of the offered list of websites because you are featuring the word cremation. Now, here's a secret. People are stupid. And sometimes they misspell the words. Do you know that a recent search of a keyword service that I subscribe to demonstrated that the word cremation, spelled CREAMATION, showed up 8% of the time? Don't just be so linear that you think there's only one way to spell a word. Put it in the background of your site, misspelled, and therefore for those 8% of the people that can't spell cremation, or spell cemetery with the letter A. What? You thought there was an A in cemetery? Oh, you're part of that 8%, aren't you? Sometimes to push SEO, people buy clicks. Nothing wrong with that. Test it, try it. Sometimes it's 5 cents a click, sometimes it's 10 cents a click. Try it. Worst that will happen is you'll wind up with more people coming to your site. but track to see how many of those people go to the pages you want to direct them to. Ultimately, some of them are going to wind up at your pre-need offerings. And that's where 10 cents becomes the cheapest lead you ever bought. Number 4, employ social media. Oh, I know you don't know much about that Facebook thing or that Twitter, but the rest of the world does. Do you know that there are 280 million Facebook page users in the United States? 280 million. That may not sound like a lot to you, but there are only 320 million people in the United States, and that includes those hooked up to a machine in a coma and those babies that aren't out of a crib yet. What that tells me is 9 out of every 10 people in the United States has a Facebook page. And you think this is a fad? Well, it's a great fad to be a part of, and it's a terrible fad not to be a part of. LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and all the other pages are just as powerful, and they're essentially free. And if your funeral home wants to communicate with people in your community, social media is a must. Number 5, replacing obituaries. Newsflash, obituaries are dead. How would you like to invest in a new newspaper for your community? You'd waste your money, but you have obituaries on your website, and they have to become a very valuable part of the resources for your community. Obituaries need to be promoted. Suppose I told you there was a way for you to deliver the obituary in real time to families. Would that be of value to you? Of course it would. And doing it through social media, through email blasts, and other methods, all through your website, are absolutely critical. And if you don't do it, you know who will. Item 6, third-party comparative websites. You want to buy a new coffee maker. Where do you go? Oh, you can get in your car and drive to the appliance store, or you can go online. Do you know 86% of all people go online to begin shopping? Shopping doesn't mean buying, it means getting data. So, what do? You go online. You go to third-party comparative sites. What is a good third-party comparative site? Amazon? Have you heard of it? Well, if you were in a coma 20 years ago, you didn't hear of it because it didn't exist. Today, it is the world's giant retailer. But people that go on Amazon don't go on Amazon just to buy. They go on Amazon to research, to look at images, to see comments from other consumers, to read reviews, and to check out prices. There are starting to be third-party comparative sites in funeral service. Before your competitor gets on it, jump on it. Get there, get established, create your portal. State what your differences are. Hone your message on that third-party site. Assume that somebody is looking at multiple funeral homes, and we want to make sure that you are the one that stands out. And therefore, don't have any pictures of your cars, don't have any pictures of caskets. Spend the time maybe on a video, so that way you can talk to consumers and explain to them what areas of funeral service you have as your excellence offering. Don't focus on price, focus on value. Value is the blend between price and benefit. And consumers are not looking for price. Oh, maybe 10% are, but 90% are not. So focus on value. And a third-party source will do that. Now, does that mean joining a third-party source or getting rid of your website? No. A third-party source is an alternative. It's an outreach to your website. Your website is a giant part of your effort to market. It's part of that 4 to 6% of revenue that you're spending on your advertising, public relations, pre-need, and general marketing. Spend the money, make it be good. Watch what it does. Look at the analysis that comes in. Use Google Analytics to check these numbers to see how your site is doing. Work each month to make it better. If you don't know what any of that means, hire someone, because not having a website is not an option. Thanks for being with me.